Next item, approval of a special occasion beer permit for the Farragut Food Festival, Friday, September 25th.
Yes, sir. This will be the 7th year they've done the Farragut Food Festival, and it's very similar to the same request they've had in the past. The motion is to waive the $100 application fee and approve the special occasion beer permit for the 7th annual Farragut Food Festival. And those dates are, the date is September 25th from 6:30 to 9:30 p.m.
Anybody from the association here?
I don't think so.
No comments?
Not for the special event permit.
Well, I move approval then.
Second.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. All right, I believe that ends our business, so the Farragut Beer Board has now adjourned.
All right, in 2 minutes, we'll start the Board of Mayor and Alderman meeting.
You should, because there's nobody here.
He'll be calling me in like 3 seconds. Is that tonight? Is that tonight? They don't have to go to the board to approve it? Okay. Are we asking to delete item 7.2? Yes, right.
Okay, it's 7 o'clock. We'll start by rising for a moment of silent prayer, followed by the Pledge of Allegiance. First item on the agenda is to approve the agenda, and I need to announce that ordinance number 2 scheduled for this meeting has been withdrawn for an indefinite period of time. So this is going to be a short meeting, and we need to approve the agenda first with the change made.
I'll move for approval with the change.
Second.
All in favor, say aye.
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 Next item is the mayor's report. I don't think I have anything to report tonight. Anybody else have any outstanding news that you'd like to share at this point? Nope. In that case, we'll move to Citizens Forum. Do we have anybody signed up?
Yes, sir. Our first speaker is Michael Wilson.
All right. You know the drill.
Yes, sir. Good evening. My name is Michael Wilson. I live at 333 Burney Circle in Farragut, Tennessee. Tonight, I'd like to briefly discuss the comprehensive land use plan as related to the rezoning application for parcel 142069 that was postponed and removed from the agenda. This issue has been before the Planning Commission and voted against twice, the first time in a 4-4 vote and the second time in a 6-2 vote. The primary reason for these votes against rezoning is the various inconsistencies with the comprehensive land use plan. The developer, landowner, residents, and the town have spent numerous hours on this issue in the last 6 months and is still yet to come before this board for a vote. To say the least, this process has been frustrating for all those involved. The board must ask itself, why has it taken so long? In my opinion, the answer to that question is because the board has failed to adopt a comprehensive land use plan. In doing so, the board hoped to maintain some flexibility in making rezoning and development decisions. The unintended consequences is that this flexibility has led to confusion with respect to the intent of the document, how it should be used in the decision-making process, and quite honestly, my belief is that many do not understand what's in the document. For example, I've been told the transition section was meant to address roof heights between various properties and not a tool to ensure existing neighborhoods are protected when developing adjacent vacant land. Many believe the land use plan is flawed and needs to be tweaked or amended. Just next week, the Municipal Planning Commission has an agenda item to discuss some of these tweaks. Having read and reread the plan in the last 6 months, I believe it does exactly what it should do. The fair and equitable thing to do is to have the Planning Commission conduct a review of the plan with the participation of all stakeholders. A final document should be presented to the Board of Mayor and Aldermen for final review and adoption. In doing so, the plan will become codified, and all those with interest in the development of Farragut will have a good understanding of the desires of the town and her residents. As well, this would provide both the FMPC and the Board of Mayor and Aldermen with a concrete tool to use when making decisions. Failure to adopt the plan will result in other long drawn-out applications pitting landowner against resident, with the town caught in the middle. I encourage you to take up the proposed action and charge the Planning Commission to provide this board a plan it can adopt. As a Farragut resident and a member of Farragut Citizens for Responsible Growth and Development, I and our group stand by to assist the Planning Commission in their review. Thank you for your time and all the hard work you put into making Farragut a great place to live.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Is there another?
Our next speaker is Martin Ritter.
Evening, everybody. For the record, Martin Ritter, 142 Champions Point, and I'm going to duplicate a little what Mike said. With today's setup, the land use plan makes it possible for anybody yielding excessive influence to do what they please. It's simply too flexible, non-binding, and carries no clout, plus it's not respected. By influential people, I mean actually anybody. It changes and shifts. Today it's Mary, tomorrow Peter, Axel, Susie, whoever. But the fact is, they will end up doing as they please if they can get away with it. A good example of this is the Business Alliance that actually gathered something like 36 responses to a rather biased and poorly phrased question, out of which a little over half manifested support for the apartments. Take off the many that express support because they have a vested interest in the issue, meaning I have to presume that anything connected to Mr. Horn made a point of answering this and to do so in favor. There are surely others that fall into similar or same category. That leaves us with 10 or 12 favorable responses out of a roster of 800 people consulted. Let me remind you, the actual survey question was rather askew, tailored to get what they seem to have desired. Now look at the degree of influence that got them, as opposed to our position backed up by hundreds of calls, emails, letters, against hundreds of show-ups, plus the press coverage, etc., plus our assertions that we were representing thousands. Our Michael Wilson, who just spoke to you, proved over and over again during his FMPC and BOMA presentations that the proposal was far from being consistent with the plan, but it systematically fell on deaf ears. It took both the Citizens Forum to get some attention and the statement that through the rezoning ordinance that inconsistency made a yes vote illegal to get others to finally consider our opposition. This is not the way we would want to see our town business conducted, at least not anymore. We oppose minor tweaks by the FMPC. They make us feel that we might be railroaded. We want the land use plan to be reviewed in great depth with the utmost care. We want to sit at the table, have open forums, mutual consultations. Contrary to popular belief, we are reasonable, intelligent people, and we do know how and when to compromise. Our proposal is to proceed with the utmost depth and caution with this process, and during it, build mutual trust so that we can all replace hostility by harmony and work together. At the end of the process, we expect the result to be voted into an ordinance so that there is no doubt that it's the law of the town. Changes, while possible, should be difficult, and protocol would have to be followed. And that is what we stand for. How soon can we implement that? Thank you.
Our last speaker tonight is Denny Ren.
Good evening. My name's Denny Ren. I reside at 12224 West Ashton Court. I don't have a comment. I just have a question. I've been sitting out in the parking lot for 45 minutes waiting for this meeting because item 2 on the agenda, from what I just now found out, has been removed. I think you owe it to the citizens to update your website because it shows it on there. Your billboard outside says that it's on tonight's agenda. There's no sign in the window saying that's been removed. I've been waiting out there for 45 minutes. How's a resident supposed to know it's been removed? How long have you known about it?
We just now voted on it.
Thank you.
Do you want to leave an email? We can note now.
Anybody else?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Next is approval of the minutes from August 27th. Any discussion? Any?
I'll vote for approval.
Second.
All in favor say aye. Aye. Next item is business items. The first is the approval of special event application for the Farragut 13.1 half marathon 5K kids run. Who's speaking on this?
Marcus, I'm sorry.
Just to give you an overview of this item, as you know, last year the Knoxville Track Club had their inaugural half marathon and 5K kids run, and despite pretty bad weather, it was actually on November 1st last year. Despite the weather, they did have a very good turnout, and they got very favorable reviews in general about the course itself. This year, they're requesting approval for their second half marathon and 5K kids run, and it would be on October 31st. The course would be very similar to last year. The start and finish will be at the Farragut High School. They did make some modifications to the course based on some feedback that they received from last year's event. They are actually running into McPhee Park and then back down to Boyd Station, and then at the end of the race, they, instead of coming to the Farragut Town Hall building and South Campbell Station Road, they're going to continue straight on the Concord Road and cross Kingston Pike at Concord and Kingston Pike and go up West End Avenue to the high school. They're also starting the race 30 minutes earlier than last year and closing the race course 30 minutes earlier. So again, those were some of the suggestions that were offered based on what happened last year. The KTC will have 3 aid stations. Each will have portable toilets. They'll be responsible for, manning those stations and providing for cleanup. The same roads that were affected last year, with the exception of the end of the course, like I mentioned, will be affected this year. There are some roads that will be closed temporarily. Other roads will be partially closed. One one additional adjustment that they're going to make is to more clearly define when you enter Kingston Pike, when you're leaving the high school to start the race, for it to be real clear which lane the runners versus the vehicles are going to be in. That was another thing that was apparently a little bit unclear. They will be providing significant public outreach like they did last year. Notices in the Farragut Press, small portable signs for those, particularly for those affected subdivisions, and flyers. They'll have detour signage. And I don't know, Ray Wilson's here with KTC. He can maybe give you some more specifics if you have any questions, but I think they're going to try to incorporate some different signage this year to increase the public's awareness even further of this event so that there shouldn't be any surprises. So the staff would recommend approval of the special event application subject to the KTC working with the affected property owners and subdivisions. We're very excited that they're using Farragut in the name of the event. It's, as I understand it, it's actually their second most popular running event behind the Knoxville Marathon, so they have more participation in this event than any other except for the Knoxville Marathon. So that's, to me, great publicity for the town. The event is consistent with what we're trying to promote in the pedestrian and bicycle plan that encourages these type of events. And again, the staff recommends approval subject to the recommendations noted.
I have a couple of questions.
Yes, sir.
Number one, how many people do you expect to be running?
I'll let Ray go to the podium and he can maybe give you that. I've got a guess, but he probably has a better idea.
We've capped it this year for total participation at 2,000 between the half, the 5K, and the kids run. We're at the moment at about 600 people signed up, and we're tracking a little more than what we did last year. I think realistically we're looking at 1,200 to 1,500 participants all total, probably about a mixture of half and half between the 5K and the half marathon.
And what time will the race be started?
8:30.
Okay, thanks.
My question, what are you doing differently as far as signing to delineate where the runners are and where the traffic is?
Once again, we're using AWP, area-wide protection, which does the coning and marking for both TDOT and the county. So we've talked to them about getting a couple more signs. The lane they're going to be in Kingston Pike, which will be the earliest time of the race, is going to have cones going both sides. So there'll be one designated lane. We're going to mark those lanes with temporary tape so that the runners know which lane they're supposed to be in. We're going to have about 10 more volunteers just on that. It's about a 1.5 mile, 2 mile section to make sure everyone stays in between the cones. But
I'll just tell you, last year I was a little confused myself coming down Kingston Pike, which lane to turn into. I was driving, and for the safety of our citizens, I want to make sure it's clear
Yep.
which lanes the cars should be in versus the runners.
I ran the race last year, and I thought it was a little confusing too. But we're going to try to cone it a little more detailed, and like I say, mark it and just have the volunteers, making sure they stay in that channel, in that marked cone lane.
It's a great event. Appreciate you being here. Just want to make sure everybody's safe.
Yep, absolutely.
So the race is starting at Farragut High School, and is it? I can't tell where it's going from there. When you come out.
It comes out to South Campbell Station,
Okay.
and then it takes a left to
Well, how does it
Kingston
get
Pike.
to South Campbell Station? That's actually North Campbell Station above Kingston
Pardon
Pike.
me, North Campbell Station.
Okay.
And then at Kingston Pike takes a right. It goes to Old Stage Road.
Okay.
Takes a left. Goes.
Now, when they have to cross traffic at Old Stage Road.
Yes. Yes.
How's that going to be handled? Is there going to be,
That's there's going to be 26 Knox County Sheriff's officers on the course. The more extreme intersections, they will definitely be there. So that will be one where there'll be volunteers as well as sheriff's office, and they'll be directing traffic at the early stages. Like I said, that's 2 miles into it.
so
The
26 deputies?
26,
That
yes, on
should
the
be
course.
enough.
I think so.
Yeah. Now, when you get down to Dixon Road, I know that's a narrow 2-lane. Is Dixon Road going to be closed?
I believe Dixon Road was closed, except for people that lived on it. They obviously could, but to enter it on either end, I don't think you could. But people that lived on it could leave.
Okay, yeah, because I'm a little bit concerned about that.
Yeah.
People have to get in and out, and
That was probably of the section of the entire course. That was probably the easiest,
the least worry.
least traffic, and least worries of any area on the race last year. I think there was probably less than 6 or 7 cars on that road the entire 4 hours of the event last year. Although within an hour, pretty much most everyone's cleared off of Dixon.
Yeah, I just want to be sure that
Yep.
somebody down there, if someone has an emergency or something like that, they can get out or they can get back in.
Absolutely.
Okay.
Yep.
Great.
Again, my concern last year was turning off of Kingston Pike on the Old Stage Road. So are you saying that there will be officers there for the beginning of the race, but not the entire race?
There will be an officer there until there's no other runners
Okay.
on the course.
All right.
Behind that point. Yep.
Well, great. Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Okay, need a motion.
I'll make a motion to approve.
Second?
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Next item is approval of directional sign placement for the 2015 Parade of Homes.
Yes, sir. This is very similar to last year, but the locations are the same. The signs are similar, but the locations are different. The request is the placement of directional signs to illustrate, and it's illustrated on the screen in front of you. This year, there are 5 homes that are within the town in the Parade of Homes. They're located in Bridgemore, Cool Springs, Park Place at Farragut, Split Rail Farm, the Farm at Willow Creek, the Battery at Berkeley Park, Sheffield, and Briarstone. The signs will be erected Thursday afternoons, Fridays, Saturdays, and Sundays beginning October 9th through October 25th. The motion is to approve the proposed placement of special event directional signage within the town of Farragut's right-of-way for the 2015 Parade of Homes.
Anything special or different about how they're doing it this year?
Not that I'm aware of.
Okay.
Okay,
I'll make a motion to approve the special event directional signage.
Second?
all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Now we move to ordinances, first reading, ordinance 15-14, ordinance to rezone a portion of parcel 59.04, tax map 152, located at 11737 Turkey Creek Road, 7.22 acres, rezoning from R2 to R1 OSMR, Knox Phi 2 LLC applicant.
So rezoning is, this property would become part of Briarstone subdivision, Phase 3. The Briarstone is to the right there on the screen, the property that's already zoned R1 OSMR. As y'all may remember, Briarstone was originally the villas at Anchor Park, and it was zoned R4. Then there was a change in development type and change in ownership, and they rezoned the property to the OSMR, which allows for both attached and detached. And that type of zoning designation is consistent with the land use description for that property. The requested rezoning before you would obviously match the rest of Briarstone. This was presented to the Planning Commission at their meeting in August, and they unanimously recommended approval of ordinance 15-14 to rezone this roughly 7 acres from R2 to R1 OSMR, and the staff also recommends approval.
Any discussion? Is the applicant here?
Surprised they're not.
Okay. Need a motion.
Make a motion, we approve ordinance 15-14 to rezone parcel 59.04 of the tax map.
I'll second. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
That takes us down to town administrator's report.
Mayor, we already saw this gentleman on the front page of this week's paper, but wanted to introduce our new sheriff department captain, Robbie Lawson, who's here tonight. He's taken over for Captain Brad Hall, and we appreciate him being here serving our community. So just wanted to introduce him.
Thank you.
So is this going to be your new assignment, or is this just filling in?
No, this is my brand new assignment.
All right, well, welcome to Farragut. Look
Yep.
forward to working with you.
And that's all I had to report, Mayor.
Okay, well, we have no town attorney's report, so we are now adjourned. Thank you, everybody.
It was an email on Tuesday came through.
Guess I missed that.
It was late Tuesday, maybe about 4 or 5 o'clock.
I was backed up on my email, just went through them all.